Good afternoon from Brussels. My name is Michael Gaebel from the European University Association. Welcome here to our webinar on the MSCA4Ukraine program. As you're all aware, the Russian invasion to Ukraine had an immediate and terrible impact on the population of the country, including academics and scientists. Many of them tried to continue their work. Many of them left, at least temporarily, and continued their research and teaching from abroad. What we try to do today in this webinar, we will look at the individual journey of 3 researchers that received a grant under the MSCA4Ukraine program. They will talk a bit about how their fellowship helped them in their research, in their careers, and also on the actual and potential contributions that it offers to enhance the links between their home and their host institutions. Can I have the next slide? So I have here Artem Nazarko, Ohla Karaman, and Oksana Chukova. But before I turn to them, you should know a little bit more about the MSCA4Ukraine. Well, after the invasion in February 2022, it just took a few months for the European Commission to establish the special MSCA strand supporting researchers and PhD candidates from Ukraine. And this has been done with the support of Scholars at Risk Europe, the Humboldt Foundation of Germany, and my organization, the EUA. And my colleague, Dominik Kalweit, is here to tell you a bit more about the program. Dominik, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks, Michael, and thanks to our colleagues at EUA for organizing what's surely going to be a very interesting and hopefully thought-provoking webinar this afternoon. I work for Scholars at Risk Europe, which is the European office of the Global Scholars at Risk Network, and I manage the MSCA4Ukraine program as lead partners together with EUA and the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation. And as Michael had already mentioned, this was a fast response as part of the European Union's response to the full-scale invasion of Ukraine by the Russian Federation in late February 2022. MSCA4Ukraine is focusing on 4 main activities, notably the provision of fellowships to researchers from Ukraine, help desk and matchmaking services, career development and networking activities, as well as support for reintegration into Ukraine, of course, if and when the conditions for safe return are met. To apply for MSCA4Ukraine, applicants could be host institutions in EU member states and Horizon Europe associate countries, applying for fellowships of between 6 and 24 months at standard MSCA doctoral and postdoctoral fellowship rates. And at the time, we'd expected to be able to finance at least 120 fellowships with the overall funding available for MSCA4Ukraine, which is 25 million euro. All disciplines were invited to submit, so all domains of research, and we encouraged secondments of up to 1/3 of the fellowship durations, including secondments in institutions in Ukraine. Looking at the eligibility criteria, eligible were researchers from Ukraine who were Ukrainian nationals, stateless persons, or third country nationals with primary residence in Ukraine by the time the full-scale invasion started on 24th February of last year, and who were displaced on or after that date or ready to relocate from Ukraine. And as Michael already mentioned, we focused on both doctoral and postdoctoral fellowship applicants, so PhD holders and doctoral candidates, who needed to possess the proper language skills that are required to successfully conduct research and work activities in the host country. The results were announced earlier this year in late February, jointly by the European Commission and by the consortium implementing this project. We had received over 400 applications by 11th November 2022, the first cutoff point, and almost an additional 200 a few days later by 25th November of that day. And the colleagues from the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation made a great effort to establish a pool of over 450 independent reviewers from over 45 countries, coming from a broad range of disciplines and expertise. Those were reviewing the applications, and the final decisions were with the selection committee comprising established scholars and representatives of organizations that support scholars at risk. In terms of results, 124 fellowships were funded through MSCA4Ukraine in 21 different host countries. And in terms of the gender distribution, 65% of awardees are female versus 35% being male. And the funded research proposals are within 8 research areas, most notably life sciences and social sciences and humanities, but also chemistry, physics, information science and engineering, economic sciences, mathematics, environment, and geosciences. If we're looking at current and upcoming activities, of course, first and foremost, the implementation of the fellowships, that is providing support to host institutions and to researchers when this is needed, generally monitoring the progress of fellowships, most of which have started by now. The vast majority have started over the last months, and the vast majority will also last for 24 months. A second activity, which has been underway already for a number of months, is to provide support to eligible but unfunded applicant candidates in seeking alternative opportunities, including funding. As you could see from the number of applications versus those that had received funding, just by the first cutoff date, the ratio is approximately 1 in 3, with many of the applications being of very good quality in terms of scientific excellence. And it is our aim to continue assisting all those that could not be financed because of funding limitations, to either find alternative funding opportunities at national levels. So we're engaged with MSCA national contact points, with other entities that provide support, including financial support, to researchers in different domains. And we also support researchers from Ukraine through individual engagement, trying to understand what the needs are, understanding those are changing, sometimes at a fast pace, of course, considering the uncertainties in Ukraine and the need to find work and life opportunities elsewhere in case of displacement. The third field of work that we're currently focusing on are career development and networking activities. And the next opportunity will take place on the 25th of October, midday, for an hour and a half. And whoever is interested is, of course, invited to contact us. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Dominik. I think so now you know all about the MSCA4Ukraine. Just a question for clarification. There is no open call at the moment, right? I mean, there's funds that you mentioned that you try to find is just for those who have been selected already or pre-selected, but where the funding was not enough to award them.
That is correct. Yeah. There's no funding available at this
just
point
to raise the expectation, no need to apply or no possibility to apply for the moment. But the other thing that you mentioned, so these networking activities and these trainings, these are open for all, not just for those fellows who have been selected?
So most of those activities are open for all. Networking specifically usually focuses on the fellows.
I see. Okay. So thanks for the clarification.
Thank you, too.
Good. I just have a look, but I think we have no question at the moment to you. There is a, I should have announced that there is a chat extra. You have a chat where you can communicate with each other, but there is also a special Q&A section. And please, if you have any questions to the speakers, put your questions in there and then we select them. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it, Dominik, then for the moment. And we come to our first researcher, Artem Nazarko. Artem is a lawyer, comes from the National University Odessa Law Academy in Ukraine, and he is currently in Bergen, Norway, but this is not the only destination that he had. Artem, I hand over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So may I start slides? Is it okay?
Yes, all good.
Yeah, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm truly honored to be here today as a speaker on this webinar, and I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to share my experience with you. Today, I will address several questions about my MSCA4Ukraine journey. Let's start with the first question. What made me apply for the MSCA4Ukraine program? My decision to enter the path of the MSCA4Ukraine program is rooted in a challenging and horrifying circumstances that have defined my academic trajectory. The Russian invasion of Ukraine in February 2022 forced me and my family to leave Ukraine unexpectedly, leading to interruption of my doctoral studies, which I started in 2021. From that moment onwards, I found myself in a situation where I was unable to continue my work on my dissertation and obtain PhD degree. After facing these tough times, I started looking for a different way to finish my research project. It was in fall of 2022 that I unexpectedly came across information about the MSCA4Ukraine program. This discovery offered me a ray of hope, a chance to revive my interrupted academic aspirations. The appeal of MSCA4Ukraine program can be summarized into crucial benefits that caught my attention. Firstly, the program's 2-year duration provided available opportunity to revive my interrupted academic journey and ultimately achieve my goal of obtaining a PhD degree. And secondly, the program allowed me to apply to any university in Europe, giving me the freedom to choose a university and supervisor that perfectly matches my research interests. Now let me provide some insights into my background and research area. My academic background is firmly rooted in jurisprudence, with a special focus on international law, particularly in domains of international criminal law and humanitarian law. Furthermore, I have a wealth of practical experience, having worked extensively in my hometown of Odessa. Now, within the framework of my current MSCA4Ukraine project, I'm working on research venture that delves into the issues of the domestic prosecution of war crimes in Ukraine. My project not only involves theoretical investigation, but also has a practical dimension. I'm planning to conduct training sessions for lawyers, prosecutors, and judges in Ukraine on this crucial subject matter. Additionally, I aim to develop particular recommendation for enhancing Ukrainian legislation to ensure a more effective response to war crimes within the country. This multi-phased approach reflects the holistic nature of my research and its potential impact on the legal landscape in Ukraine. Regarding the interplay between my current and my past research posts. During 2022, I actively participated in various projects and support programs for Ukrainian researchers in countries such as Czech Republic, Austria, and the United Kingdom. However, a striking distinction lay in their relatively short duration, spanning from 3 months to 1 year. While they certainly helped me with my research, they didn't give me the full scope needed to complete project and earn a PhD degree. This is where the MSCA4Ukraine program is different, especially from my point of view. It lasts for 2 years, which is a great opportunity for me to finish my ongoing research and move on the next step of my academic journey. What's even better is that the program not only supports research, but also offers the chance for a secondment, which add an extra dimension for my academic career. The financial support for the program is crucial for Ukrainian researchers like me, especially during these challenging times. How is my fellowship going so far? My fellowship experience is nothing short of exceptional. Starting my fellowship on 1st of June this year, it has been only 3 months, but I have made significant strides in advancing my research. Beyond my core research activities, I'm actively engaged in a diverse areas of academic pursuits, including courses and seminars which serve to improve my qualification and expand my academic horizons. On the social front, the support I have received from my host university has been unwavering. All logistical challenges associated with relocating to a new country has been resolved, ensuring a smooth transition. I have been fortunate to have outstanding supervisors guiding my journey. One of them, Terje, is a highly respected and distinguished lawyer in the field of international criminal law. My other supervisor is Lilia, hails from Ukraine and has been living in Norway for several years. Her invaluable assistance extends beyond academia, helping me to acclimate to my new surroundings. It was Lilia who submitted the invitation application to University of Bergen on the MSCA4Ukraine portal. Our conversation is in our native language, Ukrainian, during lunches are a lovely aspect of my experience. Before joining the MSCA4Ukraine program, there wasn't any established collaboration between my home university, Odessa Law Academy, and my host institution, University of Bergen. In fact, I'm proudly represent the pioneering link between my home university and the University of Bergen. As a testament of our commitment to develop the future collaboration, I maintain continuously communications with my home university and remotely conducted seminars for students in Odessa. However, the cornerstone of our collaboration lies in our joint research efforts. Together with my esteemed colleagues from Odessa, we are actively engaged in research pursuits, and I'm keenly aware of the challenges that many Ukrainian researchers face when seeking to publish their work in Europe. Having passed the way personally, I possess a profound understanding of the potential pitfalls and hurdles that can emerge during this journey. Therefore, I provide consultations and guidance to my Ukrainian colleagues on selecting the most effective publication strategies. Furthermore, I offer my services pro bono to proofread and refine my colleagues' articles before they are submitted to foreign journals. I firmly believe that dissemination is a vital aspect of the academic researcher's life, and I'm deeply committed to facilitating the publication of Ukrainian research in the global academic arena. Our future collaboration plans. One of the most significant collaboration initiatives is the upcoming legal conference scheduled for February 2024. This conference will take place at the University of Bergen Faculty of Law, and it's dedicated to the second anniversary of the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine and the 10th anniversary of the annexation of Crimea. We plan to invite researchers from Ukraine and my home university to share their insights on this topic. This conference represents a notable example of the future collaboration we are building, emphasizing the importance of fostering academic partnership between institutions and advancing our understanding of critical issues. So in conclusion, I'm grateful for the opportunity that MSCA4Ukraine program has provided me, both in terms of academic and personal growth, as well as the potential for strengthening academic collaboration between my home university and host institution. Thank you very much for your attention.
Well, thank you very much, Artem. That was a fantastic insight in your academic activity at the University of Bergen. As you mentioned, joint research, how does that work then? Is there a joint research team, or are you linking researchers from Ukraine with those in Bergen, or?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Basically, we're working together as probably in some independent researcher with my colleagues in Odessa, which I worked before I left Ukraine, and we have some results of this collaboration. We published one manual for students in Ukraine, and we published 3 articles in well-established, esteemed European and American journals together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really proud that even some big and well-established publishers are really welcome, and they're interested in Ukrainian topic, in particular, not only war crimes, which is my primary topic, but also another topics as well. So
you
yeah,
had
we are
the topic of war crimes. You had this already before the war, right? Or was that a decision triggered by the invasion?
It's accidentally I picked the right topic, if I can say like that. But yeah, I think the issues of developing Ukrainian criminal legislation is not only started like 1.5 years ago. So this discussion around war crimes prosecution started even before, when the Ukrainian Criminal Code was adopted. But now it's much more important, because as for today, we have more than 100,000 registered war crime cases as a statistic of our Office of General Prosecutor of Ukraine. So it's a absolutely huge, insane amount of cases, which is just put on the current judicial system in Ukraine, and we definitely need to develop new approaches, maybe some collaborations. And also my supervisor in my host institution, University of Bergen, Terje, he's ex-judge, and he also had some hand-on experience in prosecution and judging, and also some a really big theoretical and research knowledge and experience, which is, I think, we will build a really good, we will try to implement a really good project and really help Ukraine, not only in a sense of scientific way and develop of academia, but also beyond the academia, to improve some legislation and make some practical training.
You mentioned the training before. How would that work? How do you see that be implemented?
I think that we will establish a collaboration between our National Association of Advocates and Judges and Norwegian one, and make maybe some training sessions, at least online. It depends on security, of course, but at least online sessions with some tips and trainings how is better to provide this prosecution and investigation. But also it's a outcome of the project, which we swift and postponed to the later stages of my research, and now I'm mostly involved in research work. But I think in the last 6 months of my project, we will implement these trainings as well. We aim to do it, and I hope it will be really interesting, and I will definitely report and try to disseminate it in media, our efforts to improve this situation. And I'm really hope that it would be like that, how we expect it.
I just saw a question here on whether it has been attempted to do a kind of Erasmus agreement, or probably a kind of Erasmus project between your home institution and your host institution.
So actually now we have no any agreements, any bilateral agreements between our universities, but we have these plans, and it's also depends, really with a bit bureaucracy, and it's not on the top of the list for Ukrainian university right now. They already started the academic semester. Now it's September. And it's a lot of organizational work, but I think we slightly, step by step, will try to organize this proper collaboration agreement between our university, at least. Probably it's also our second option, that we want to organize some lectures from Norway to Ukrainian students, at least for now, for earlier steps. And then maybe to organize a proper collaboration, in the sense that Ukrainian students can come to Norway for visiting semester, at least for 6 months, but it also depends not only for me, it's not only my matters, but I really push it with my supervisor, Lilia. She's really, she's a Ukrainian woman. She's really interested in this collaboration, and I'm really proud that I met her. And thanks for her many times. I really appreciate her efforts to make these links between Ukraine and Norway. I hope that together we will overcome any hard lesson this way.
Yeah, so also a clear indication that this is not about individual scholarships, but also an outset, a possibility for collaboration. There are also many people are interested in what are your plans after, and you talked already about your academic plans, basically. But I mean, you mentioned before that it is good that the MSCA for Ukraine is 2 years. But what do you think happens after the 2 years? You will be able to finish your PhD in that time and then look for an new position?
Yeah, so actually, yeah, I highlighted a few times during my presentation that one and maybe the most crucial advantage of the MSc for Ukraine program for me as a doctoral candidate, its duration, because I can finish my PhD degree in 2 years. It's enough time to finish my project and present my thesis. But afterward, after my defense and my viva, I hope it would be positive viva. I still my plans are still taking shape. But I also considering both to stay in Europe in some universities in a broader sense in academia, but I still considering option to come back to my home city, Odessa, because I'm really missed it and I feel homesick. And continue my work in Ukraine, but it also depends not only on security issues, but also on maybe governmental policies, funding opportunities, and I think it's really big issue in Ukraine, because now we are mostly defending options like war-related costs. It's not time, for research, and I understand that the Ukrainian government do their best, but anyway, I think that it's too early, to make plans. Now I'm more concentrating on finish my PhD degree and get a degree and finish my thesis. But anyway, I think I will consider both and Ukrainian path and European one as well. But anyway, I think after these 2 years, the links between Ukraine and Europe will become more stronger. So it would be easier to working in both environment in Ukraine and Europe and travel and secondments and collaboration. I hope so.
Good. Thank you very much, Artem, for the moment.
Thank you.
Maybe we have a chance to discuss later on a bit. But I bring in now our next researcher, and this is Ohla Karaman from the National Cancer Institute in Lithuania. This is actually a hosting institution, but you're actually currently not in Lithuania, but in Chicago in the US.
Chicago, the US.
So Ohla, tell us a bit
from
more.
Chicago.
Okay, good.
Hello, everybody. Let me introduce myself. I'm Ohla Karaman. Until February 24, 2022, I work at Kalweit Institute of Experimental Pathology, Oncology, and Radiobiology, Kyiv. And I was a senior researcher of Laboratory of Oncoimmunology and Cancer Vaccine Designing. After Russian invasion, I moved to Vilnius with my 17 years old son, and I started work at the National Cancer Institute, Vilnius, Lithuania. Right now, I am a senior researcher of laboratory immunology. So, why? My project about bacterial lectin and cytokine-induced killer cells as a way to improve cancer immunotherapy. I fellowship period from April 22-23 to March 22-25. Before the war, my research involved studying the effect of cancer vaccine on the anti-tumor resistant system, and also we study how the Bacillus subtilis bacterial lectin can affect macrophages and prevent these cells from switching to tumor-associated cells. But Now, my current research more about manufacturing protocol for obtaining cytokine-induced killer cells, and also how we can improve these cells, and we try to use bacteria lectin and other options. So as you can see, my research don't completely change. It's about cancer immunotherapy. But how I decide to apply MSc for Ukraine. In March 30th, 2022, I met Professor Michael Nishimura. He's from Loyola University, Chicago. His current research is the study of the genetic and biology of T cell receptor genes and T cell gene modified T cells. The last 35 years of studying T cells and tumor immunology has led to 3 clinical trials and 28 patients treated with gene-modified T cells. So it was very excited for me because it's very complicated technology, and I want that we have this technology in Ukraine. And right now I stayed and work in Lithuania as well. So Professor Nishimura invited me to the SIMT annual meeting 2022, and it was in Mainz, Germany. And after meeting and discussion with Professor Nishimura, it became necessary to master the method of constructing viral vectors for TCR modification, obtaining lymphocytes with chimeric antigen, and obtaining gene-modified lymphocytes and cytokine-induced killer cells. So there were the main reasons for seeking scholarship. So also, MSc for Ukraine, why I applied, entails the following: a monthly living allowance. What it was very neat for me. And also mobility allowance, it's also very important for me. Family allowance, I said that I moved to Vilnius with my son. It also was important for me. And also a monthly contribution towards institutional management and research, networking and training costs. So this is reasons why I apply for MSc for Ukraine. And my academic mentor from host organization is Professor Vita Pashukonis. And right now I have secondment, and my secondment mentor is Professor Michael Nishimura. Secondment organization, Loyola University, Chicago. My secondment started on August 3rd, and I will here until November 27th, 2023. So completion of the internship will allow me to generate T cells and cytokine-induced killer cells with specific anti-tumor activity, to contribute research using in vivo system and for the development of a new approach for cellular anti-tumor immunity. Internship will allow me to improve my theoretical and practical skills of generating recombinant CAR T cells and TCR retroviral and lentiviral vectors. And also internship will allow me to rapidly transfer this gene therapy technology to Ukrainian and Lithuanian scientists for preclinical and clinical studies. It's for future my plan, my goals. And also very important that presentation my data at the laboratory meeting which Nishimura Lab has will allow me to establish connection for cooperation with colleagues who also work in the field of anti-tumor immunotherapy. But not only, I have not only professional experience, but also a little side seat. So completion of the internship will allow me to have a great time in Chicago, the United States. You can see my both mentor. We were at the Museum of Science and Technology, Chicago, and also I can see American football for real, so it was excited for me. And my research is ongoing, and right now, thank you for your attention.
Well, thank you so much, Ohla, and that's really an interesting development, I guess, when you had not in mind to go to the US actually when applying to the MSCA, or did you? Was that part of the plan when you applied for the MSCA for Ukraine?
Yeah,
it
was.
To Chicago? It was already.
Yeah, it was,
okay,
because according to my presentation, why I saw, I said about how I met my professor Nishimura, because before the European Union decided to open MSc for Ukraine, I met Professor Nishimura, and it's start change a little my research.
Absolutely, so, yeah. We have here the question: what are your plans for cooperation with Ukrainian institutions? And if I can add to that, do you have any links still to your home institution?
Sure. Before I received MSc for Ukraine scholarship, I also have a small project, Lithuania-Ukrainian project. And right now we work together. We all time have online meeting, and also right now I know that we can apply for Ukrainian, Lithuanian, the US project for collaboration, for education, Ukrainian scientists. And as I said, I want to bring CAR-T technology to Ukraine and Lithuania. So it's very complicated technology. So we need to learn. So it's my
you need
plan.
What? Sorry, you need
learning.
Learning. Yes.
Learning.
Yeah. What would that take? You mentioned that the transfer of this gene therapy. What would this take apart from learning?
Oh, it's.
How do you get that to Ukraine?
To be honest, it's very difficult, but I think it's possible. It's to be honest, I don't know how I can do it, but gene modified lymphocytes. It's from people use it from 2015, maybe early. So it's not so new technology, but it's always it's improve all time. And in Ukrainian we need sequencing, we need teaching or learning a lot.
So it's a matter of training and
all time training,
education. Okay. Yes. What do you do when your grant finishes, when your fellowship finishes? You have also 2-year fellowship?
When my grant, you mean MSc for Ukraine?
Yeah, yes.
When it's finished, I want to continue my research with cytokine-induced killer cells. And right now I try gene-modified receive gen-modified cytokine-induced killer cells. It's why I'm right now stay and work in Loyola University. Yes, and I have some good results, positive results.
Okay.
And I want to continue, so I need funding, and if it's possible, I will cooperation with my colleagues from Ukraine. I continue a cooperation with, I hope, with my colleagues from the United States, and I will continue work in National Cancer Institute.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for the moment, and I have no more questions here for you. I can see no. Then we have our third and last researcher here this afternoon, and I welcome Oksana Chukova, an MSCA Ukraine fellow at DESY, the German Elektronen-Synchrotron Institute in Germany. And she is actually from Taras Shevchenko National University in Kiev. Oksana, floor is yours.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Many thanks to the organizers for the possibility to talk today about our views on the strengthening of the Ukrainian higher education and research university sector. My name is Oksana Chukova, and today I am presenting here Deutsche Elektronen-Synchrotron, DESY, Hamburg, Germany, the largest synchrotron in Germany. But for many years, I was affiliated in Taras Shevchenko National University of Kiev. This is the main university of Ukraine. Here you can see pictures of our main building, its halls, and my faculty of physics. I was a student in this university, and PhD student, junior researcher, and passed away up to senior researcher, and had no plans to change my affiliation. But after the Russian invasion and after the few days in underground place in Kiev, my family decided to leave Kiev, and we had no plans for the future. We simply lived our home. After that, I have got a 3 months visiting scientist fellowship in Institute of Physics of Polish Academy of Science. Then I moved to Hamburg, and having got a visiting scientist position in at Petra 3 P66 beam line of Deutsches Elektronen-Synchrotron DESY. Initially, this position was for 6 months, then it was extended for 3 months more, and it was only after moving to Hamburg that I decided that I should try to draw some research proposals for several calls in order to receive further funding abroad for continuing my research work and my attempts. The last autumn of 2022, I have submitted more than one project application, and all my applications were successful. Without any doubts, I choose the MSCA4Ukraine program because this program is the best possibility among the others, because at least I have 24 months for my research with clear work planning for the future, not 3 months, not 6 months, 24 months, and we can plan. My previous research background in Ukrainian was connected with luminescence materials and methods. I carried out design of new luminescence materials for various applications. Those are lighting systems, luminescent converter for solar cells, and so on. and development of luminescence method of monitoring and sensing, because luminescent method are widely used in biology, medicine, registration of ionizing radiation, and for forensics testing, and so on. And I also was involved in physics in development of physics model describing electronic processes. Those are responsible for reason of luminescence emission. Understanding of this process of the main mechanism of luminescence emission is very important for research, as we can predict good composition of materials, so can be effective, and so to go to the new materials in a more short way. My current project and current area of scientific activity is completely the same as my previous research. The MSCA4Ukraine project aims for the future development of ideas. Realization of those were started at Taras Shevchenko National University of Kyiv. And the project is based on our previous knowledge and our previous results and experiments, and continue them. But instrumentation of the research is completely different from those that I have in Ukraine, because now I am working and large scale facility and I am using a synchrotron for investigation, or synchrotron light for investigation of luminescent properties of the luminescent materials. As for the working environment and human contacts, I should say that DESY host gives great international communications and new free friends, connection with new colleagues, and now I have a very good and established group in DESY, but despite of this, I strongly feel a lack of communication with my previous research partners, because I was tightly collaborating with colleagues of Faculty of Chemistry of my home Taras Shevchenko National University of Kyiv. They were synthesized new luminescent materials. I was involved in investigation of these materials, and then sent my feedbacks to colleagues from Faculty of Chemistry, and they took into account these feedbacks into development of new compositions. So this was tight collaboration, and now we try to continue this collaboration. I will say about this later. About academic and social aspects of my current MSCA4Ukraine fellow. I should say that MSCA4Ukraine have funds for conference travel and cooperation visits, and I'm going to take visit to Ukraine, and also I have presented my current results at several conferences. For example, there were DESY Nanomat Science Day. I had invited talk at the European Material Research Society Spring meeting in Strasbourg, and today evening I will have one more talk and the fall meeting in Warsaw of the European Material Research Society. And a few weeks ago, I have visited international conference on luminescence in Paris. This is a main event for all those who are involved in luminescent investigation. It's a very good conference. Also, I should say that I have got a lot of support in DESY with several working group and staff and colleagues, and especially I would like to thank the European Project Office of DESY for Susanna and Greta. I have got a lot of support with my career development plan and data management plan and information support. Also, I visit language courses in DESY, and if it is needed, I can obtain psychological help and career development help. So I have very, very friendly and helpful community in DESY. About my current collaboration activities between my host and home institutions, I said that it is very important for me to continue collaboration because I study luminescent materials. Those are mainly synthesized by my colleagues from faculty of chemistry from Taras Shevchenko National University. And here you can see my colleagues from Taras Shevchenko University. Here you can see Tatiana Voitenko. She is my main co-author for the last 10 or maybe more years. We together developed a new composition of luminescent vanadate nanoparticles and achieved very efficient luminescent composition. This my colleagues came to DESY once months ago for experiments. Here you can see a screenshot from the P66 bin time schedule, and you can see that Tatiana Voitenko had been line in August. Sorry. So our team visited DESY, and in October the next team also will visit DESY, and we develop future collaboration. So about my home university. My home university were damaged after Russian attacks several times. The most damages were got at October 17th. The main building was damaged, and at the last day of December of the previous year, my faculty was damaged. We lost a glass in windows. This is my working place in my home university. So now it is not possible to use this room, because at least it is not possible to head them, because they are without windows. So despite of this, faculty of chemistry is undamaged. So my colleagues can produce new samples, new nanoparticles, and also I prepare some samples in DESY, and we are continue our collaboration. We have already submitted one research proposals for Eurozone competition. Now it is waiting for results. The project leader of this proposal is Igor Fesic. He is associated professor of Faculty of Chemistry of Taras Shevchenko National University of Kyiv, and the main collaborator proposed for this project is Alexei Kotlov. He is mentor of my MSCA for Ukraine fellowship, and he is P66 Beamline manager in DESY. So the project is devoted to green synthesis of luminescent zinc oxide nanoparticles. We are going to carry out the synthesis with using of plant extract and reduction agents. And this project is devoted to development of new generation of rare earth-free luminescent materials. Also, we plan to make some application for other research called with participation of Taras Shevchenko National University of Kyiv and P66 Beamline of Deutsches Elektronen-Synchrotron. And in December, I am going to have a second mentor to my home university. So our collaboration is continuing, and I forgot to say I have a student. So with double supervising, Daria Breus is my bachelor student preparing her diploma as student of Taras Shevchenko National University, and she is carrying out experimental works in DESY for her diploma. So thanks for your attention.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation, Oksana. I think that was really very insightful. Had your institution been in contact with DESY before, or is that a new relationship?
Yes, we have been in contact before for many years. First time I have visited DESY as user also not at P66 this time. It was Beamline E Super Lumi. The current Beamline P66 is a successor for a Super Lumi Beamline, and we were many times we were users. We came as users to this Beamline with our samples to carry out research measurements, and currently I try to invite more people from Ukraine for these measurements, as I am working in P66 Beamline to show them possibility. Only if they are staying in Ukraine, they can take their samples and come to our Beamline for measurements.
Okay. How do you transport your samples? You just take them with you?
Sometimes we take the samples with me. Yes, I have experiments, many experiments to carry out samples together with cosmetics. But this year we also try to send the samples officially, and it was successful. I only have paid 45 euros from my MSCA fellowship for custom purposes.
For customs?
Yes. My colleague Tatiana Vitenko, she is also lived in Ukraine for short. Now she's working in Cambridge, and she sent me samples from Cambridge.
Okay.
And so it was successful.
Okay, so maybe that's something that we should bring forward to ensure that research materials can be exchanged customs-free across Europe. That would be very important. Yeah. Thank you for your input. Our time is almost up, and I thought I could ask one question to all three of you. And this is, I mean, you praised and hailed the MSCA for Ukraine. If you could improve it, how would you do that? Is there anything to improve?
Ladies
Oksana.
first.
Yeah, Oksana.
So, for example, as for me, I invited my colleagues for measurements, and thanks to DESY, they had got some financial supports. But if I will have a small possibility to maybe use my cost to help my colleagues from Ukraine to come to DESY, for example, to cover their travel expenses from my...
So some more flexible funding for allowing for
Yes,
more
to help colleagues coming to me.
networking and collaboration. I think that's an interesting one. And Artem, you had also an idea.
Actually, yeah, I think that MSCA4Ukraine program is excellently balanced, and from my point of view, it's generally no any disadvantage from my perspective. But I believe that further support could be somewhere like in establishing some cross-subject conference for MSCA4Ukraine grantees. To present their research results, maybe some midterm after 1 year, and present, like, organize this conference somewhere, and that everyone can come and present their results on the previous year. Yeah, so I think it would be good, and maybe some publish some conference results, conference materials afterwards. So I think it would be good, like some summarize our results after 1 year.
I see our colleague Dominik is taking notes here, and he's really in the driving seat. He may have a word to say right afterwards. Ohla, last word for you.
I know that my colleagues from National Cancer Institute has some problem with the financial part of MSCA4Ukraine. They don't understand how they have to, how it say, correct division money. So maybe this is part need improve. And also I know that part of my colleagues had problem with found host organization. Maybe need organize some no, but you really did it and do it, and I hope it will do seminar how correct my colleagues, I mean Ukrainian colleagues can found host organization, because
indeed I think we provided quite a good list for
matching,
and it has to be done on a very short period of time. I think that was really the challenge there. But thanks also for the suggestion on the funding side and everything. I mean, simplification is clearly something that we all engage for and hope for the next program generations. Dominik, do you have a last word for us? Anything that you observed from here or that you take home?
Well, this was extremely interesting. So thanks a lot to Artem, Ohla, and Oksana for your insights. Super useful. I would have a last question. If you have a suggestion for fellow MSCA4Ukraine awardees, how they can strengthen the links back with their home institutions in Ukraine, what would that be?
May I start? From my perspective, I think that we're doing our best to straighten these connections, and I think in many universities, personally in my case, we have special advisors on MSCA generally MSCA projects, and they provide me a lot of support and guidance. But in a sense of collaboration with my home institution in Ukraine, I think it also depends on variety of different heartless. It really depends. But I'm not really sure that we can somehow improve it and make it easier from generally program point of view. It depends in case to case. But I think the duration, that 2 years, you can really try to establish this collaboration between your home and host institution. It's enough time to do these efforts well.
Okay.
Great. Well, thanks a lot. Michael, thanks also to you and to all your colleagues at EUA who made this possible. I know there was a lot of work in the preparation of the event. So thank you on behalf of everyone here at MSCA4Ukraine.
Yeah. Thanks, and thanks to Artem, Oksana, and Ohla for taking time to share here with us today. There was a question on whether we would continue this or do another event of this kind. We certainly will, but none has been scheduled yet. But I think I have one announcement here. Can I get the slide again? So of an upcoming event, yes, indeed. There is an webinar on open science on the 25th of October. So that might be of interest for you. So that's it from us here today, and to be continued. Keep in touch. Have a good afternoon then. Bye.